If the body dies, where does the mind go? Buddhism answers. Humanity's greatest mystery. There's one question that seems to touch almost every human being, no matter who they are or what they believe. It's the kind of question that comes up in quiet moments, in the stillness of night, or during times of deep reflection. Often, it's the first mystery that sparks our spiritual curiosity. When this body is gone, where does the mind go? This question isn't just a personal thought. It's one of the greatest mysteries of all time. From ancient days until now, it has fascinated humanity. Just think about it. It's the foundation of countless religions, philosophies, and the endless search for meaning in life. What are we? What happens when we die? What lies beyond this moment? Humans are naturally curious. We want to explore, to understand, especially when it comes to something as profound as our own existence. We want to truly see what this transition, what we call death, really is. And maybe, just maybe, to understand death, we first need to understand what connects one moment of life to the next. All around us, there are many stories and beliefs about what comes after death. Some speak of eternal heavens or terrifying hells. Others imagine lost spirits or total extinction. But each of these ideas feels like just one part of a much bigger puzzle, a guess, a piece of the whole. And deep down, many of us are still searching for an answer that feels clear and complete. Not something we follow out of fear or habit, but something we can truly understand for ourselves. This is where the Buddha's wisdom becomes deeply relevant. The Buddha, an awakened one whose insight goes beyond time, didn't offer a fixed belief or a comforting tale to help us feel better. Instead, he showed us a path, a way to explore, to see directly for ourselves the truth about death and about how the mind continues. He didn't ask us to just believe. He encouraged us to look, to investigate, and to understand the nature of all things with our own eyes. So today, let us take this journey together to look closely at this great mystery. We'll walk with the light of the Dhamma to guide us. Our goal isn't just to collect knowledge, it's to understand deeply. And through that understanding to find peace, clarity, and a new way of seeing life itself. The causal engine of the mind moment. To begin understanding what happens to the mind after death, we first need to look at what the mind and body really are. Not as fixed or unchanging things, but as they actually work in each moment of our lives. Most of us have a strong feeling that we're solid, consistent beings. We look in the mirror and see the same me each day. But if we look deeper, we'll see that this isn't the full picture. Modern biology tells us that our body is constantly renewing itself. Cells are born, live, and die all the time. At its core, the body is impermanent, anicca in Pali. Like a river that keeps flowing, it's never exactly the same from one moment to the next. It's a process of ongoing arising and passing. And the mind? It's just the same. The mind isn't a solid object hiding somewhere inside us. It's a flowing stream of experiences. Every thought, every feeling, every mental image, we don't hold on to them. They arise, stay briefly, and fade away. Imagine a movie made of countless frames shown in quick succession. We see smooth motion, but in reality, it's just a rapid series of still images. The mind works like that too. A sequence of moments, 𝐶𝐻, arising and ceasing, one after another. To see this for yourself, try a short experiment. If you're comfortable, close your eyes for a moment. Focus on a single sensation, perhaps the feeling of your breath at your nose, or simply notice a passing thought. Do you see it stay forever? Or does it arise, linger for a moment, and then disappear? This constant flow of coming and going is the very nature of our experience. Now think about this. If there truly were a fixed, unchanging self, a permanent I who is in control, wouldn't we be able to fully manage our body and mind? Shouldn't we be able to choose not to age, not to feel pain, or avoid getting sick? Shouldn't we be able to command our minds to never feel sadness, anxiety, or anger? But the truth is, we can't. Most of us know this firsthand. And the Buddha saw this too. In the Anatalakkhana Sutta, he said, "If form were the self, it would not lead to affliction. And one could say of form, 'Let my form be this way, or not be that way.' But one cannot." And this doesn't just apply to the body. It also applies to our feelings, perceptions, mental activities, and even consciousness itself. We can't fully control them. They arise and pass away on their own. From this, we begin to see something important. There is no fixed self, atta, that truly exists and controls everything. What we call I is actually just a flow, a continuous process made up of the 5 aggregates: body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness, all changing from moment to moment. So then, if there's no permanent self to go anywhere after death, what creates the sense of continuity? What links one moment of mind to the next, or even one life to the next? This is where the idea of Kamma comes in. Kamma, or karma in Sanskrit, is not about divine punishment or a fixed fate. It's much simpler and deeper than that. Kamma is intention, the mental force behind our actions. In the Nibbidhika Sutta, the Buddha put it clearly, "It is intention, I tell you, that is Kamma." Intending, one does Kamma by way of body, speech, and mind. This means that every time we act, speak, or think with intention, we create a kind of mental energy. Each of these intentions leaves a trace, like a ripple in the water. Think of Kamma as a natural law of cause and effect in the realm of ethics and will. Just like planting a seed. If you plant an apple seed, you'll get an apple tree, not an orange. In the same way, wholesome actions, driven by kindness and wisdom, lead to wholesome results. Unwholesome actions, driven by greed, hatred, or delusion, lead to suffering. There's no external judge deciding our fate. It's simply the natural outcome of causes and conditions. And importantly, Kamma doesn't vanish when the body dies. Like the ripples on a pond, even if you walk away, the ripples you started keep moving. That energy of intention continues. It shapes what comes next, moment by moment, life after life. The dying process, how the mind navigates its transition. Now, let's turn our focus to one of life's most profound and delicate transitions, the moment of death. What actually happens to the mind when the body begins its final decline? Picture someone on their deathbed. Their body is growing weaker, breathing becomes shallow, and the 5 senses, sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, gradually fade. According to the Abhidhamma, the higher teaching, and the Visuddhimagga, the path of purification, which are detailed systems of analysis developed after the Buddha's lifetime, this phase marks a very intricate inner process. During this stage, the Bhavanga Citta, or life continuum consciousness, normally flowing quietly beneath everyday awareness, starts to falter. The mind slowly withdraws from the sensory world. At this critical point, past kamma intentional actions brings a particular object into the dying mind's field. This object plays a key role in shaping the next life. At this decisive and sacred moment, the mind encounters one of three specific signs. These are not given by any divine judge, but arise naturally from one's own accumulated kamma. These three signs are: 1. Kamma, recollection of past action. The mind may recall a strong action from this life or a previous one, either wholesome or unwholesome. This isn't just a memory, it's the active energy of that kamma coming into consciousness. It might be the deep joy of a generous act or the heavy sting of a harmful one. 2. Kamma nimitta, kamma sign. This is a symbolic image or a tool related to one's past actions. For someone with mostly wholesome kamma, this could appear as light, peace, or a feeling of uplifting clarity. For someone with unwholesome kamma, it may show up as darkness, fire, or a heavy, fearful presence. These signs are not illusions. They are direct reflections of the mind's own kamma at work. 3. Gati nimitta, sign of destination. This is a mental preview of the next realm of rebirth. It could be a beautiful, heavenly scene, a familiar place in the human world, or even a glimpse into a lower realm. It indicates where the mind's causal stream is about to continue. Then comes the final moment of this life, the 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐞, or death consciousness. This is the very last moment of consciousness in the current life. And here is the key point. It doesn't go anywhere. It simply ceases, right there, in that moment and place, like a flame that quietly goes out. But the process doesn't stop there. According to classical Theravada Buddhism, there is no intermediate state, antarabhava. The Kathavatthu, a core Abhidhamma text, specifically rejects the idea of a waiting period or wandering spirit between lives. Instead, right after the 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐞 ceases, a new consciousness arises, the patisandhi citta, or reconnecting consciousness. This new consciousness appears instantly in a new place, a womb, an egg, a heavenly or hellish realm, depending on the force of kamma. There is no delay, no gap. This new consciousness is causally connected to the past life, but it is not the same person or the same being moving from place to place. The Milinda Panha, an important ancient text, offers a powerful analogy. A lamp is lit from another lamp. The second flame doesn't jump from the first, but the energy from the first gives rise to the second. Another image from traditional commentaries: a seal pressed into wax. The seal doesn't transfer itself, but its impression does. The new consciousness is not a continuation of a soul, but the result of a causal imprint. So, where does the mind go when the body dies? In truth, the mind doesn't go anywhere. The old mind and body process, namarupa, ends with the death of the body. A new process of mind and body arises elsewhere. Nothing actually moves or transmigrates like a solid self. What exists is an unbroken stream of cause and effect. This view reflects what the Buddha called the middle way, as taught in the Kaccanagotta Sutta. It avoids two extremes: eternalism, sasatavada, the belief in a permanent soul that survives death; annihilationism, uccedavada, the belief that everything ends completely at death. Instead, the Buddha taught continuity without a self, a process that flows forward through conditions, but without a fixed identity passing through. There is continuity, but no one who continues. Different maps of the mind stream's journey. As we continue exploring what happens to the mind after death, it's important to recognize that while the core teachings of the Buddha, such as non-self, anatta, kamma, intentional action, and dependent origination, paticca samuppada, are shared across all Buddhist traditions, the detailed explanations of the mind stream's journey can differ in subtle ways. These differences often reflect the diversity in teaching styles, cultural influences, and meditative insights that developed over time. Different schools of Buddhism have emphasized different aspects of the path. While some focus on clear philosophical principles, others explore the inner experience of death and rebirth through symbolic or visionary frameworks. These are not contradictions, but different perspectives on the same underlying truths. One of the clearest examples of this variation is the idea of an intermediate state between death and rebirth. In classical Theravada Buddhism, as described in texts like the Kathavatthu, there is no intermediate state, antarabhava. When a person dies, the new life begins immediately. There is no delay, no in-between phase. In contrast, Tibetan Buddhism, which is part of the Vajrayana tradition, teaches about the bardo, a Tibetan term meaning in-between. According to this view, after death, the mind stream enters a transitional period lasting up to 49 days before the next rebirth. During this time, the being may go through a series of mental experiences, visions, sounds, and encounters that reflect their accumulated kamma. These experiences are not seen as external or divine, but as projections of the mind itself. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, Bardo Thodol, offers detailed guidance for navigating the bardo. It teaches that this period is a powerful, though often difficult, opportunity. If the being can recognize the true nature of the mind during this phase, liberation may be possible, even before rebirth takes place. Still, it's essential to understand that this journey does not involve a soul or fixed self wandering between lives. Just like in other Buddhist traditions, it's a continuous process driven by kamma and ignorance, not a permanent identity. So even with these differences in description, all Buddhist traditions agree on key foundations. There is no eternal soul or fixed self that moves from one body to another. The causal power of kamma is what drives the continuation of the mind stream. And most importantly, the goal is not just to be reborn in a better place, but to go beyond rebirth entirely, to reach the peace of nibbana, or nirvana. We can think of these different explanations as various maps of the same path. They may use different images, terms, or timing, but they are all pointing in the same direction. Like different trails leading to the same mountain peak, or different languages describing the same experience, they all offer valuable insights into the mystery of how the mind continues. Fate is not sealed. You create your own future. Throughout this journey, we've explored the deep connection between mind, kamma, death, and rebirth. But this is more than just philosophical reflection. It leads us to a liberating truth. Our future is not fixed. It's not ruled by chance or destiny. Instead, it is being shaped moment by moment through our own intentions and actions. This isn't just something to think about. It's a direct invitation to practice. The path is not outside of us. It begins right here, with how we choose to live, speak, think, and respond in each moment. Understanding how the mind works and how kamma flows changes the way we live right now. The Buddha urged us to live with mindfulness and energy, knowing that every wholesome thought plants seeds of happiness. Every kind word builds healthy connections. Every generous action creates a better world, not just for others, but for ourselves. This is not about collecting merit like points or rewards. It's about living in harmony with the law of cause and effect, the natural unfolding of Kamma, 𝐂𝐻𝐿. As the Dhammapada teaches, heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to death. Hasten to do good. Restrain your mind from evil. These are not just old verses. They are practical guidance, reminders that every moment counts. Every action matters. We should not postpone what is good, and we should not allow harmful intentions to grow. This is the essence of daily practice: to live with awareness, to make peace, to forgive, and to love. And when we live this way, consciously and consistently, we are also preparing ourselves for the final moment. A calm, clear, and wholesome mind at the time of death sets the stage for favorable rebirth. More importantly, it reflects a life that was well lived. According to the teachings, it is our accumulated Kamma, shaped over a lifetime of intentions, that guides this transition, not random chance. So how we live now directly shapes how we will face death. Yet even a good rebirth, even in a heavenly realm, is not the final goal. These realms, no matter how joyful, are still part of samsara. They are impermanent. Eventually, all beings in these realms will pass on. The ultimate aim is freedom from the entire cycle, the realization of nibbana. This is the state where craving, tanha, aversion, dosa, and delusion, moha, are completely uprooted. No new Kamma is created. The force of past Kamma is exhausted. There is no more rebirth. This is what the Buddha called the unconditioned, the highest peace, true freedom. The Buddha described this realization with great clarity in his own words after awakening. Through many a birth in samsara I have wandered in vain, seeking the builder of this house. Painful is birth again and again. O house builder, you are seen. You shall build no house again. All your rafters are broken. Your ridgepole is shattered. My mind has attained the unconditioned. The end of craving is achieved. In the end, when you truly understand death, not as an ending but as a process, you begin to understand how to live. Not in fear, not in carelessness, but with freedom, awareness, and compassion for all beings. The Buddha did not ask us to accept blind beliefs or fixed dogmas. He offered a path we can walk for ourselves, experience for ourselves, and through which we can liberate ourselves. So, when we ask, when the body dies, where does the mind go? The answer is simple. The mind doesn't go anywhere as a fixed thing, but the causal stream continues. And the direction of that stream, you are shaping it right now. This is the true practice. To live each moment with wisdom, kindness, and the clear intention to walk toward lasting peace.